Today we got a good old-fashioned wireless mic showdown, sorry.
We got the two big dogs, the Rode Wireless Go 2 and the DJI mics versus some newcomers, the Hollyland Lark Max, the Godox Verso S, and the Synco G2 Pro.
And the final outcome might not be what you think. We're gonna do a sound quality test, a noise floor / ambient test, and a distance test. And what you're listening to right now is my XLR mic. Now it's in a different position. Just to show you that little tip of the mic, just a slight tip. I messed everything up. You're listening to my XLR mic, but we'll switch to these wireless mics starting right now.
All right, now you guys are listening to the Rode Wireless Go 2. Now, unfortunately, like the rest of these systems here, the Rode Wireless Go 2 does not come with a charging case. Now, in Rode's defense, these are the oldest mics in the group. Rode pretty much pioneered this wireless microphone thing, and then every other company on the planet jumped in and dipped their toes in the wireless mic game. Now, you can purchase an official Rode charging case for the Wireless Go 2, but it's a separate purchase, and that's $80 extra tacked on to the price of the Wireless Go. I'll leave links down below if you want to check it out. Links to everything in this video down below. They do have it available, but again, it doesn't come free like the rest of these mics do. Hopefully with the Rode Wireless Go 3, we get that free charging case. It's pretty much a must at this point. Also, hopefully we get a new, smaller, more compact design and just some new features, some cool stuff. I'm rooting for you, Rode. The menu systems on the Rode Wireless Go 2, they fall in third place for me out of this whole group, mainly because number one, it's just a lot of button clicking to get to where you have to go, and it's like combinations of things, and it's a little confusing. I'd much rather have some kind of touch screen or some dial screen that I could just see the menu system and choose what I want with a click and then scroll over, and just something along those lines. You could really fine tune your settings with the Rode Wireless Go 2 more than any other wireless microphone pretty much on the market, but you're gonna have to use an app. I don't really wanna be plugging my wireless microphones into anything else besides my shirt or my camera. Now, one thing I do love about using the apps is that Rode came out with presets. Like right now, I'm shooting on the FX3, which basically has the same exact preamps as the A7S III, and Rode has a preset for the Sony A7S III. Windshields are important to me. These little troll toupees here, they mean a lot. They're important on a daily basis. Whenever you're shooting outside, you're gonna need these windshields on there. If you forget them or you lose one, you're pretty much screwed because you're gonna get wind noise and it's gonna ruin your audio. You have a twist and lock system in there where these little wind puffs are not going anywhere. They're excuse the noise, but they are in there. They're just. And we have onboard recording on the Wireless Go 2. Love it. That's pretty much how I use all of my wireless microphones. If they have onboard recording options, that's like 80% of the time, that's the way I'm gonna go. Right now, we're not onboard recording. We're going straight to the camera, but yeah, I like the onboard recording. And again, Rode was the first one to do it. Everybody else followed suit. So good job, Rode. Can't wait for the Wireless Go 3. All right, next up is one of the new guys, the Hollyland Lark Max. This is an excellent microphone system. I was pleasantly surprised when I got this in the mail from Hollyland. The build quality itself, like the actual physical build quality of this entire mic system, is by far the best of the bunch here. It's just solid, well built, it feels premium. This does come with a charging case. It is the second smallest behind the DJI mics, and it also comes with a case that you put the charging case inside of. Hold on. Now this is the pouch that you get with the DJI case. We're not on the DJI mics yet, but just showing you guys the pouch. This is what the case for the DJI mics goes inside of. And the reason for this case is so you can carry any wires, lavalier mics, and the windshields that come with it because they don't fit in the case itself. Now what Hollyland did was they just made another case that the case fits inside of. So you're still carrying around a protective case, and inside of this case, there's a little flap here with a zipper that you could fit all of the extra accessories inside of, which is really great. So kind of digging this. The menu system on the Hollyland Lark Max is by far the best I've ever seen on any wireless microphone system. It's just a great menu system in general. The windshields on here are good. They're they're pretty good. I wouldn't say very good. I wouldn't say great. They're not like the DJI and Rode designs are. They're not twist and lock. They're the third most secure wind puffs out of all these microphones on here. They're a nice little strong rubber wraparound system where it just slides over the whole top of the transmitter. And they're on there pretty strong. Again, excuse the noise. Let's make sure they're on there. Nice and snug, and we'll give it a good little... Oh. For the most part, wireless microphones are going to be on the go, hence the Rode Wireless Go, because people are using these outside. They're using them on the run, on the fly, on the move. So windshields are extremely important. Next time around, the Lark Max 2, it's one of the only improvements that I really need to see on this microphone system. You gotta step it up with these windshields. I'm sorry. They're not terrible. I gave it a really good shake there. And like I said, they are the third most secure out of everything here. So they're right behind Rode and DJI. Now, I'm purposely not getting into any noise canceling features that any of these microphones might or might not have. It's just, honestly, you shouldn't be using them. I mean, it's cool if they're there for some reason, but I don't recommend using them. Any platform that you're going to be editing video on pretty much has noise removal now, and good noise removal. So there's really no reason to use it on a microphone where it's baked into your audio. But I would say that out of these 5 microphones here, Hollyland does have the best noise removal feature out of all of them. But again, don't use it. They also have a really strong magnet that comes with it that clips right onto the back clip. In case you don't have the type of clothing that you can clip this microphone onto, you could just magnetize it on the inside of your shirt or wherever you can, and you'll be good to go. Overall, the Lark Max is an excellent wireless microphone system. Really glad Hollyland sent it over, and yeah, might have taken over as my new favorite wireless microphone system. Maybe. Now we're on the new Godox Verso. Now there's 2 versions of this. There's the Verso and the Verso S. The Verso has your standard receiver just like the rest of these systems. You slide it right into your cold or hot shoe, and you plug it into the mic jack. Simple, plain, everything you're used to. The Verso S was intended strictly for Sony cameras that have the multi-interface shoe, where you can plug in multi-interface compatible devices. For the most part, Sony devices up until this device came out. I don't know how Godox did it. I don't know if they did it without their permission or if Sony gave them permission. I don't know. I don't say nothing. Don't look at me. I don't see nothing. Wait. I'm no witness. Now, the only difference is with official Sony products, when you slide them in, they're powered by the camera's battery. The camera itself powers the devices, which is how I thought it was going to be with the Godox system, but no, you actually still have to charge. It has its own power, so you have to, when the battery dies, you have to plug it into USB-C and charge it up. Now, another feature that separates the Godox mics from the rest of these is that there's actually a third microphone built into the receiver, which is a feature that you actually got first in the Rode Wireless Me, which I reviewed a few months back. They were the first ones to come out with this design. And then I don't know if Godox was working on it at the same time and just a coincidence, or they just straight up copied them. I got no problem with copying in the tech industry. But yeah, the Godox has a microphone built right into the receiver, and you might be wondering, how the hell do I even use this? Well, I think the only real way to use it on the Godox is if you're behind the camera and you're filming 1 or 2 people that are already mic'd up with the previous transmitters, and you don't have one for yourself. You might want to get a few words in here and there. You got a little microphone on the receiver that's facing you behind the camera, so you could still get some dialogue in without sounding like you're super far away or actually behind the camera. Now, as for size, the Godox mics and the receiver are the biggest and chunkiest in the group, and the case is pretty hefty and big also. Also, one other thing to note is that when you get the Verso, the non-Sony version of this, all 3 fit inside this charging case. You close it up, it charges just like all these other systems do. But the Verso, they sent in a separate little small individual package, and that doesn't go inside the case. It doesn't fit, and it doesn't even have the little metal connections in there. You have to plug that in and charge it separately with a USB-C cable. The menu system on here is very just super plain, simple, straightforward. Very mundane. There isn't a lot of fine tuning like the Hollyland, the DJI, and the Rode mics. It's just really few settings in there, make some changes, super basic, super duper basic, and that's really it. Not a lot to play with. And you control everything with these little dials that they put up top, which they're little clicky dials that you rotate back and forth. Not really a fan of them, especially being on the transmitter, because I find them extremely easy to accidentally click and hit, and who knows what you're going to be changing settings wise when you're not paying attention. Now there is an internal recording option in here, but you need a micro SD card. Each transmitter has a micro SD card slot in it, so there's no actual built-in storage on these microphones. Now, I mean, is that the worst thing in the world? No. Some people might even prefer that, to have a little SD card that they can pull out and store for safety. For me personally, I'm an ease of use type of guy. Give me internal storage. Let me record straight to the device. Let me plug the device in, drag the audio recordings off, and call it a day. These wind puffs have a weird design to them. I'm sorry guys, I don't know who finalized this design, but they have this little prong on them, and that's how they sit on top of the microphone. And I say sit on top because they just sit on top there. And that prong goes inside of the microphone jack where you would plug in a lavalier. And the weird thing is it just... All right, so I'm glad I just noticed that. See that little prong sticking up right there? That's what goes into the mic jack of the Godox. And when I rotated it, which can happen just by touching it, it's such a weird design. It's a bad design. I'm sorry, Godox, this is a bad design. When I rotated it, it triggered something inside of the mic jack that made the transmitter think that there was a lavalier or something plugged in, and it completely just cut off my audio. So that was the first time that happened to me. That's a big failure, in my opinion. Sorry, Godox. Can't mess with you on this system. Not loving it. This makes me never be able to use this windshield whatsoever, because now I know I can't trust it. Because if I even nudge it a little bit and it rotates a little bit inside of that lavalier mic jack, it can cut off my audio, and I can't have that. That means I got to do reshoots. If I'm at a wedding or something like that, definitely not. For a paid event, no way, Jose. All right, now we're on the Synco G2 Pro. This is the second largest, physical size largest microphone out of this group, behind the Godox that just really disappointed me. Now the charging case with the Synco is actually pretty nice. Now it's a little bit of a mixture, what I showed you, between the Hollyland and the actual Hollyland case, the case for the Hollyland case, because it's the same type of material, only this is the case. There's a charging port right on the side. It's smaller than the Hollyland case is, not the small case, the storage case. You charge everything right in there, and you store everything right in there. And it's honestly the only case out of everything here that does both, charging and storing everything you need in one case. Now I use the word mundane with the Godox microphone, and this microphone takes mundane, I think, to the next level. Number one, there isn't even a menu system on here that I couldn't find. There's not like a legitimate menu system where you can go in, make selections, and then change settings from there. You're just kind of clicking buttons, changing from mono to stereo, and changing levels. I don't know if I'm missing something, Synco. If I am, comment down below. Is there like a long press? I tried long pressing buttons. I tried double clicking buttons. I didn't see any type of actual menu system in here whatsoever. It's really just super straightforward and simple. Mono, stereo, couple of clicks to raise or drop the levels down, and that's pretty much it. On top of that, there's no internal recording on this whatsoever. There's just not an option for it. So you're getting the super straightforward basics. Some people might like that. Really easy to use. You're just going to raise or lower your levels and plug it in, get your audio, and be on your way. Now the windshield on here, I would say, is actually the second worst design behind the Godox. It reminds me a lot of the original Rode Wireless Go, where it's just two prongs with two slots on the microphone, and you just stick those little rubber prongs right into the top of the microphone and pray it doesn't get knocked off or get lost. And that's how it was with the original Rode Wireless Go before they had their little twist and lock system. again, now they perfected it, they're good to go. This takes a step back to that. So let's see how easy it is to pop off. I'm not gonna do the shake thing because it's gonna go flying, I know that. You can always get away with this up and down, but side swiping is the ultimate test. And yeah, it just popped right off as you saw right there. So not really super reliable. You're probably gonna lose some wind puffs unless you're incredibly careful. Overall, personally, I wouldn't use this system. It's just too plain and simple for me. And again, in a world where DJI, Rode, and Hollyland exist, something like the Godox or the Synco system, you know, not really enough there for me. All right, last is the DJI mics. A lot of people have switched over to these wireless microphones. They've become a lot of people's favorite microphones. They're the smallest by far in every way, shape, or form out of all of these systems, which I think is one of the big reasons why a lot of people like them. Even the case is the smallest. The only thing I don't love, like I said before, is this little pouch that I have to keep to put this case inside, because this case isn't capable of storing everything. It does store some stuff, but things like the little wind puffs, which I actually lost one of them, which I don't know how that happened. It just happened today. Hopefully it's upstairs or in my car or something like that. And I didn't lose it off of the microphone, but I do have to keep this inside that pouch at all times, and then that pouch goes in my camera bag. At this point, I'm used to it. Not really a big deal, but when I first got it, I'm kind of like, would have been nice if we could have found a way to put everything in this case, or even just make this case a little bit bigger. Hope maybe next time around we'll be able to get rid of the pouch and store everything in one spot. That would be really nice, DJI. One of my favorite things about the DJI mics is how they connect to different devices. So for the receiver, you have your normal clip that slides right into the shoe of your camera, but that actually slides off and you can replace it with either a lightning clip or a USB-C. One for Apple, one for pretty much everything else. And that pretty much eliminates all wires that you need besides the wire that you need from your receiver into your camera, which is great. The way this connects to your iPhone or your Android phone or even DJI action cameras, you're just plugging the receiver directly into your device and eliminating that wire. And I absolutely love that. And I love that there's a slot for it inside the charging case. Also, like I said, just like the Rode Wireless Go 2, again, mind the noise. These are a twist and lock system on the windshields. You're not going to lose it unless you're me. And I lost it for the first time today, but I think I'm going to find it. From almost the moment that I got this microphone, they became my favorite wireless microphones. Now, like I said, I just got the Hollylands and not too long ago, and they're giving the DJIs a run for their money. But before the Hollylands came in, I was like, man, these are just amazing. And you see it. All these content creators now are switching over to the DJI wireless mics because it's just a great system. It's a great setup. For the distance test, I had a 170-yard field to work with, and surprisingly, none of the mics dropped signal. The worst part is I gotta do this all over like 5 times. All right, we're gonna stop right here at 170 yards. 170 yards. Can you guys hear me at 170 yards away? Right now we are at just at 170 yards. Right about here. This is the Synco mic. Did somebody take my camera? Oh my God, the bugs. I gotta keep moving. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Here is 170 yards. Now I wanna just sit these mics down and record nothing but air. Let's see how much sound they do or don't capture. Overall, the DJI wireless mics and the Hollyland take the cake for me. They're kind of like
right here with everything. I can't really decide just yet because I kind of just got the Hollylands in, but I'm starting to lean towards the Hollylands as being my new favorite wireless mic system. The distance, the sound, the design, the menu, again, phenomenal. The Rode Wireless Go 2s are in third place for me, which I think is honestly pretty great, being that, again, they're the oldest mic in this entire group and they're the originators, and everybody else had a chance to see what they did originally from the start and then have a few years to build their own product based on that and just keep making improvements. I'm really curious to see what the Rode Wireless Go 3 brings to the table. The Godox and the Syncos, for me, sorry guys, not a system that I would personally get into. And for any companies watching this video, here is a very quick wish list that I think pretty much everybody will agree on moving forward for you guys. So just please take note. Number one, everybody wants 32-bit float. It will make our lives a hell of a lot easier. Don't have to worry about levels anymore. Just turn it on, get your recording, deal with it afterwards, and get incredible flexibility with your recordings. Number two is pretty simple. I think everybody could do this. I can't believe this hasn't been done yet. The little clip on the back of all these transmitters, make it rotating. Click, 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 click. So no matter which way you hook your microphone on, if it's like a button-up shirt and you gotta do it sideways, you can click, 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 and have the microphone facing towards your mouth. I think that's a simple request here. Let's get it going. Let's make that happen. And last but not least, and this is kind of a reach, but I think we're gonna get there at some point. We need a little tiny AirPod Pro design. Little tiny wireless lavalier mics. By the way, the case will double as the receiver. In a situation like that, I'll trade that size for 32-bit float and even internal recording altogether if that's what it takes, if it's just not possible to fit it into that small of a design. I'll also trade great battery life for that. Give me 3 or 4 hours, some tiny little twist and lock windshields on there. I promise you guys, whoever comes out with this first will win. You guys will be the winner. All right. That's it. Links below for everything. Make sure you subscribe. Don't go anywhere unless you click that subscribe button if you aren't already. Also click that notification bell, thumbs up, leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about these microphones? I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Salute.